Welcoming a very grand welcome to Shri Jyotiraditya M Scindia, Honorable Minister of Communication, Government of India. He's going to be joining us here on stage on Global Business Summit Day 2, 2026. Please welcome the Honorable Minister on stage. And as Sajid also joins us on stage, let me also quickly invite N Subramanian, who is the Executive Director and Group Chief Executive Officer of the Times Group, to felicitate the Minister on stage. Mr. N Subramanian, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. The Minister being felicitated by the Executive Director and Group Chief Executive Officer of the Times Group. Thank you very much, Mr. Subramanian. All right, Sajid, over to you. Sajid Mangat, who is the Senior Executive Editor, ET Now and ET Now Swadesh. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Scindia, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We have a target to meet $5 trillion economy, and communication and posts will be central to that. How do you plan to revitalize this entire two key sectors so that we reach that 5 trillion economy?
So, first of all, Sujit, thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here at GBS again, and it's always wonderful to have an interaction and a chat. I just want to take you back in time, and 100 years ago, we had the Industrial Revolution in India, in the world, that was powered by the development of the railroad system and the highway system in the world. Now, these were visible infrastructure transformations. What India has gone through now in the last decade under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the laying of the digital highway in our country. Hindi में कहावत है कि ये एक अदृश्य अधोसंरचना है. It's an invisible infrastructure that has been laid, but it really is the pipe that is going to power, and it already is, the content in terms of being able to power business, commerce, and the economy of this country. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, you had close to about 60 million broadband subscribers in India. Today, we have 1 billion broadband subscribers in India. 12 years ago, your cost of 1 GB of data would be about 287 rupees. Today, it's 9 rupees. You can't count that in dollars. You just about can count that in cents. It's about 10 cents a GB. We are today 5% of the global cost of data. The average global cost of data is about $2.49, and we are at about 11 cents. So there's been a complete transformation, and that transformation has powered commerce, it has powered the economy, and I'll tell you why. Because where earlier commerce economy was driven by tier 1 cities and beyond that maybe to tier 2 cities, it is now not only being powered by tier 3 cities, but it is being powered by every single citizen across the length and breadth of our country. When my farmer in Tripura or my coffee grower in Nagaland can get onto this invisible highway and connect and be able to transact his production directly to international markets. When you look at gateways like UPI, you look at gateways like ONDC, and by the way, UPI today is doing close to about 20 billion transactions a month, 250 billion transactions a year, $4.3 trillion. 50% of the world's digital transactions today take place in India. So to answer your question, India today is already not only powering herself from an economic and a commerce point of view, but it would be in the right way of things to say that probably India is powering global transactions and global commerce. 50% of digital transactions in India. The G20 ministers meeting, the digital meet on ministers, very clearly identified that when we look at SDGs, digital capability is a pillar of that. And today, across the 180, 90 countries in the world, India is leading that digital pillar in terms of digital connectivity. So we are already there, and the target for us is to be able to increase this capability. And which is why you're seeing probably the world's largest public expenditure on grassroots connectivity happening in India. So our amended BharatNet project, which is going to take our OFC fiber and broadband connectivity to every single gram panchayat in this country, in every village on demand, 2.56 lakh gram panchayats, 3.8 lakh villages, $16.9 billion project, 1,39,000 crores, completely funded by Government of India. It's the largest project of its type in the world. And what that's going to do is going to take that capability of commerce, economic livelihood, contribution to nation building, right to the doorstep of every single of 140 crore Indians across the length and breadth of our country.
You know, we saw the fastest rollout of 5G in India. The way it has rolled out, now India is on 5G. From a consumer point of view, from the retail point of view, how do you see the role of 5G with respect to monetization and adoption by enterprises? Enterprises.
Okay, so Sujit, we're already there. And I say this very often, and I say this with a little bit of 20/20 hindsight, because this is a department that I started my public service career with. In 2007, this was the department that I first became a Minister of State in. And the transformation that this has seen over time, we were behind the world on 4G. We were playing catch up. We walked with the world on 4G, 5G. But I firmly believe that we will lead the world on 6G. Now, the substance and the meat behind that statement is we played catch up on 4G. Our state-owned telco, BSNL, had two paths before itself. One was to emulate the other telcos and buy equipment from the big four, the big five who produce telecom equipment, whether it's Nokia or Ericsson or Huawei or ZTE or Samsung. The other was the more arduous, difficult, challenging path of actually vertically integrating backwards and producing our own RAN and our own core software and building out our own BTSs. By the way, this has never been done in the world. For the last 40, 50 years, 5 companies from 4 countries, which I named, have ruled the telecom equipment manufacturing sector globally. And the Prime Minister made the decision for BSNL that we're not going to take the easy route. We're going to take the difficult route. Again, surprisingly, we got a consortium together, very unlikely consortium, CDOT, which is a government-owned company to produce the core software, Tejas, which is a private sector startup to produce the RAN, the radio access network, and TCS as the system integrator. And in 19 months, we built out our own domestic 4G stack. And September of last year, and we kept it quiet, under the radar. And September last year, the Prime Minister inaugurated 1 lakh towers across the length and breadth of India, built on our own domestic 4G stack, built by TCS, CDOT, and Tejas. So what does that mean? That means that a sector that was the arena of a select few, 5 companies from 4 countries, India today has entered that club. India has become the 5th country to produce its own 4G stack. On 5G, we entered a little late, but India had the fastest rollout on 5G in the world. We rolled out close to about 500,000 towers in 22 months. And my hat's off to our domestic telcos. 4.5 lakh crore worth of capex. And today, 99.9% of the districts in India have 5G coverage. There's only one district left in India that doesn't have it because of approachability issues, but 99.9%. And today, when we have 120 crore mobile subscribers, guess how many are already on 5G? 40 crore. That's 35% of the market is already on 5G. And by 2030, this number of 40 crores is going to go to 100 crores. Right? Third, we come to 6G. India has never been at the round table. Telecom is about setting standards. Telecom is about being on the cusp of an inflection point of bringing in new technology. And India has never been represented at that table. First time in India's history that on setting of 6G standards, with 3GPP, ITU, India is sitting on the table setting the standards for 6G. Bharat 6G Alliance, which has been set up in 2023 by the Prime Minister, started with 18 members, entrepreneurs, tech companies, telcos, government, across the board. Today has grown to 100 stakeholders. And B6GA's mandate is that we need to secure 10% of the patents when 6G standards are set. And we are well on our way. I take a review every quarter, by the way, on B6GA in terms of the 7 verticals that we have and how we are proceeding on that in terms of setting those standards with ITU and 3GPP. And believe you me, we will be the ones that will set the standard which will convert what is pedantically known in India as the digital divide into a digital dividend.
How do you do the monetization? Because you spoke about the fact that domestic companies have invested more than 4.5 lakh crores on capex for 5G. The biggest question is about sustainability from a revenue point of view, from the profitability point of view. If you want to go to 6G, you will need another similar amount of investments going forward. So monetization is something which is now being sought after. How do you see monetization for companies?
What do you mean by monetization of companies? Because
all
our 4 telcos, I mean, all out of our 4 telcos, our 3 telcos, our 2 telcos are already in the public market. 1 telco is planning to go to the public market. And with regard to BSNL, I'm going to keep that up my sleeve. But I guarantee you, we are on the path of a new paradigm of growth. BSNL, by the way, last June to September quarter and October to December quarter posted its first ever quarterly profits after 18 years. 18 years. We had a revenue run rate in terms of our top line. We grew to from about 18,000, 19,000 crores to about 22,000 crores. My target this year is to grow that in double-digit figures by the end of March. Our EBITDA, which we normally call our operating profit, was 395 crores in 24-25. It grew to 5,100 crores in 23-24. In 24-25, it grew to 5,100 crores. This year, I'm hoping to grow that again by double digits. So if you're looking at, when you talk about monetization, that's really in terms of disinvestment and sale of assets. That's not my purview with regard to the 3 telcos, which are pretty much private sector. As far as BSNL is concerned, we have very healthy cash flows now, as I just mentioned, 5,400 crores last year. We are also on the path of monetization. But for me, what's extremely important is to be able to roll out in an expansive way this 4G network. And on the basis of that, once it is fine-tuned, then very quickly switch it to 5G. And for that, I have a CapEx plan in place, which will be funded partly through internal accruals, partly through disinvestment, and hopefully with some assistance from Government of India.
you've been heading two transformation projects. One is BSNL, where we are seeing the results coming in. The other is India Post. Uh, it used to be a cost center, but it has huge potential with respect to logistics, because even if you check with some of the logistics company, they calculate their reach based on the number of pin codes that India Post has. What is the kind of transformation project that you're doing for India Post?
So, let me talk a little bit about my, if I may call it my first love, because I believe that India Post, in terms of her reach, is unparalleled to any distribution system, public or private, not in India, but in the world. We have 1,65,000 POPs, points of presences. The capability of this distribution network to be from a fulfillment agency for all e-commerce applications, for all goods and services that need to be sold. In a sentence, I had coined this way back in 2007. But I wanted India Post, my Dak Khana, to be the window to the world for the common man. There should be no service or no good or no commodity that cannot be sold virtually or physically from my Dak Khana. And that's the project that we are working on right now. There's a major BPR exercise going on, a business process reengineering exercise, where actually we're shifting this ship and making it a logistics fulfillment provider. We have back-end agreements with Amazon and Shiprocket and all of these corporates. We're going into sectors that we have never gone before, such as I've spoken with AMFI in Mumbai, Association of Mutual Funds of India. We're now becoming their distributor for mutual funds. We are doing their eKYC. We're doing already stuff on Aadhaar card. We're doing stuff on POP SK in terms of being a passport service provider. Many of you don't know, but India Post has provided 2.8 crore passports to the citizens of our country across the length and breadth of our country. So there is tremendous potential, there is tremendous amount of passion, and there's a tremendous nation-first emotion in each one of my डाकियाs. अगर आप गांव में जाओगे तो मैं ग्रामीण क्षेत्र से आता हूं, अगर आप गांव में जाते हो तो गांव में दो ही लोग विश्वसनीय होते हैं. एक होता है गांव का चौकीदार, जिसे हम कोटवार कहते हैं, और दूसरा होता है गांव का डाकिया, क्योंकि गांव का डाकिया जानता है आपकी नानी, आपकी दादी कहाँ रहती है, आपके बच्चे कहाँ पढ़ रहे हैं, आपकी शादी कहाँ हुई है. डाकिया आपके घर की हर कुंडली को जानता है. And that is the emotional punji of our department, which we have to turn into a resource to be able to fulfill every single citizen's aspirations. And so for the first time in the history of our country, we've divided India Post into 6 verticals: citizen-centric services, parcels, mails, international business, PLI, post office savings banks. We are setting targets on a circle basis. Each Chief Postmaster General is setting his or her own targets as opposed to HQ setting it. We hold a monthly review against those targets. As I said, we have a huge BPR exercise going. For the first time, we sent our officers to La Poste in France, USPS, Royal Mail, Japan Post, DHL, to study their first mile, middle mile, last mile capabilities. On the basis of that, we've put together a full logistics network that we are transforming with RFID codes, automatic conveyors, completely doubling and increasing our productivity. And I can guarantee you this, that within the next 3 to 4 years, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, you'll see a new India Post with a new branding, a new service capability, both on mails and on parcels, and across the board on all verticals.
Mr. Scindia, we are running out of time. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much.